ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ
सहनौ
भुनक्तु
भुनक्तु
सह
सह
वीर्यं
वीर्यं
करवावहै
करवावहै।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
विद्विषावहै।
विद्विषावहै।
ॐ
ॐ
शान्तिः
शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्ति
शान्तिः।
शान्तिः।
That's it. So we had completed the 24th mantra of the second section. And I had said that all these mantras were basically the mantras from which we have derived the sadhana chatushtayam. So now we are on the 25th mantra, which is the last mantra of the Ditya Valli, second section. So let us chant that. Yasya brahma cha shatram cha
यस्य ब्रह्म च क्षत्रं च
उभे भवत ओदनः
उभे
उभे
भवत
भवत ओदनः
ओदनः।
मृत्युर्यस्योपसेचेनं पसेचनम्
मृत्युर्यस्योपसेचनम्
मृत्युर्यस्योपसेचनम्।
मृत्युर्यस्योपसेचनम्
मृत्युर्यस्योपसेचनम्
मृत्युर्यस्योपसेचनम्।
इत्थावेद यत्र सः
क
क
इत्था
इत्था वेद यत्र
वेदयत्र
सः
सः।
Okay. So, yasya, for that, for what? For that Atma. So here the word Brahma next to it doesn't refer to Brahman. He's saying yasya, for that Atma, ubhe, both, bhavata odanaha, both are odana bhavata. Odana means food. So yasya ubhe odana bhavataha. For that Atma, both are food. And what is the food? Brahma cha shatram cha. So Brahma means here Brahmanas, not Brahman. Brahma is the Brahmana and Shatram means Kshatriya or food. And then Mrityuhu, that is death, that is Yamraj. Yasya, for that Atma, Upasechanam. Upasechanam is chutney, sauce, the side dish. So death, Lord Yama is a side dish for that Atma. So for that Atma, Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are food, and Mrityuhu, Lord Yama, is the chutney, is the sauce. Upasechanam. And then he says, Kaha Veda Itha, who can know this? Yatra Saha, where that Atma is. So as we would have seen for some time, there was a slight diversion, and now Yamaraj is coming back to the main topic of the Upanishad, Atma Jnanam. And this Atma is what? Atma is Jagat Karana. So he wants to tell you that you should know Atma as the Jagat Karanam. And that is one of the most important ways of knowing. And what is Jagat Karanam? Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanam. The creator, the maintainer, and the destroyer of the entire universe. And who is that Atma? I am that Atma. I am that consciousness principle. And therefore, I have to replace my sentence by, instead of saying that Atma is the Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanam, I have to say that I am the Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanam of this whole universe. I, the Atma, am the creator, the maintainer, and the destroyer of the universe. So again and again, the idea is being presented that it may be difficult for us to appreciate that we are the Atma who is the creator and the destroyer and the maintainer. But we have to look upon ourselves as the consciousness principle. The I, when I refer in this context should mean the consciousness principle Atma and not this physical body. If I look upon myself as the physical body, then I am a miserable created creature in this universe. I can never be the creator. But here Vedanta is saying that don't look upon yourself as the physical body or the mind or the intellect. Look upon yourself as the very consciousness principle, which is the basis for all these three. And therefore, you are the creator. And now, here, when Yamaraj is saying that Atma is eating Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, and the side dish is Lord Yama, right? So, remember the when he says Brahma Shatram, Brahma cha Shatram cha, he's talking about Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. What about Vaishyas? What about Shudras? What about the other, animals? So that we have to extend the idea that Brahma and Shatram, the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are Upalakshanams. They are a generic term being used for the entire universe. And so when he says Brahmanas and Kshatriyas is the food for the Atma, it means that the entire universe is the food for the Atma. Atma is the one which destroys the whole world. So this is the destruction aspect of Brahman being pointed out. And interestingly enough, Lord Yama is also eaten. Death, whom we all fear, is also eaten. But he is not even important enough to qualify as primary food. Pasechanam. He is only chutney. Right? So I have to redo my thinking. I create everything. I create the Desha, space, I create Kalaha, I create time, and I create Prapancha, the universe. And when Pralayam comes, I swallow all these three. Space, time, and all objects become my food. Now, why are some question may be asked, why only Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are being talked about? So some commentators say that Brahmanas and Kshatriyas represent the entire humanity because their primary job is maintaining dharma. And dharma rakshanam, Brahmana protects dharma how? Through educating people about dharma. Kshatriya protects how? Through external control, police, law enforcement, everything. So education is internal control, which the Brahmana provides. Policing and law enforcement is external control, which the Kshatriya provides. And that is why the name is being used. As I said before, you have to extend it to all jivas and all of anappa also. So it has to be taken as the entire world, entire universe. Because during pralayam, it is not just brahmanas, kshatriyas, or even just human beings. The entire universe goes into pralayam. So obey bhavata odanaha, become food at the time of pralayam. Now, therefore he is saying that atma swallows time and space also. And therefore I might be confused because everything is located in space, right? Now, if Atma has to swallow space, Atma has to be located where? Outside space. And is that possible? Because space is what gives location. But as we have seen several times in the past, Atma is self is all pervading. In fact, space itself is born in Atma. Therefore, you cannot talk about the location, spatial location of Atma, one cannot talk. I don't have a location. As Atma, I don't have a location, but everything is located in me. This is the real Atma Jnana, that I only exist. Everything else is dependent existence because it is located in me. That includes space, that includes time, that includes all objects, that includes Lord Yama also. Death whom you fear, that poor Yamraj, where does he stay? He stays in you only. And so, ka ettha veda yatra saha. Who can know this Atma in this manner? So, who? What does the word who mean? Kaha, who? What does it mean? So Shankara explains, who has to be taken as prakrita buddhihi, the one who has got a unrefined mind, the one who has not got sadhana chatushtayam. He will never know this Atma. And in this manner, has to be again interpreted very carefully. Any guesses what in this manner means? Anybody wants to hazard a guess? He is saying that Atma, who can know? Only the refined mind. So the unrefined mind cannot know the Atma. And again he says, in this manner.
The refined mind can know this Atma in this manner.
In this manner means what?
In the manner that I am the Sthiti, Laya, and Srishti Karanam as Brahman.
Okay. Anybody else?
Ravi ji, may I try?
Please, Natarajji.
The process of elimination, if this is not there, then what is left?
Exactly. So in the manner in which a qualified person knows. But how do you know? Using neti, not this, not this, not this. He eliminates everything and then finally figures out that what is left is only himself. And that is the Atma. Okay. So in this way, iti vitiyavallihi, the second section is also over. Now we will go to the third section. And before we start, a small overview. In the third section also, Yamraj is talking only about the main topic, which is Atma Vidya. And as we have seen before, Atma Vidya has four main topics. And therefore, this Valli, this section, the third section, also deals with those four main topics. What are they? Atma Swarupam, the nature of the Atma. Atma Swarupa Jnanam, the knowledge about the nature of the Atma. The third is Atma Swarupa Jnana Sadhanam, the disciplines leading to discovery of the nature of the Atma. That is, this disciplines required for Jnanam of nature of Atma, and Atma Swarupa Jnana Phalam. What is the benefit of knowing the nature of the Atma? So once again, nature of Atma, Atma Swarupam. Knowledge about nature of Atma, Atma Swarupa Jnanam. Disciplines which are required for this Jnanam, Atma Swarupa Jnana Sadhanam. Benefits, Atma Swarupa Jnana Phalam. The third Valli is also very popular because very popular means popular among those who study Vedanta because it presents the example, very famous example of life as a journey, right? So, who is the traveler in this journey? The traveler is Jivatma. And why is it being brought in as a teaching subject? Because the Jivatma, who is the traveler in the journey of life, and the journey of life, somebody very nicely said, is from where to where?
Womb to tomb.
Womb to tomb. Okay, very aptly put. The journey of life is from the womb to the tomb. So, in that journey, that final destination of the body is the tomb, right? But in that journey, the Jivatma has two possible destinations. One is all the Anatma destination. So, Dharma, Artha, Kama, all material destinations. And this, remember, earlier Yamraj called it Preyaha. He talked about two things, Preyaha and Shreyaha. These are the two destinations. Anatma destination, all material objectives in life, Dharma, Artha, Kama, they were Preyaha. And Preyaha has three defects. We have talked about it again and again and again. So I'll just mention the defects without explaining. Prayas has three defects. Dukkha Mishritatvam, Atripti Karatvam, and Bandha Tatvam. Dukkha Mishri Tattva means all all objectives, all anatma destinations are mixed, Mishri are mixed with Dukkham and Sukham, with sorrow and pleasure. So whatever material destination you get, there is sorrow, there is pleasure. That is called Dukkha Mishri Tattvam. The second one is called Atripti Karatvam. Whatever material destination you get, whatever material goal you achieve, there is always dissatisfaction because there is a better goal always. So Atripti means dissatisfaction. Atripti Karatvam. That is the second major defect. First major defect is that any goal is never pure pleasure, always pleasure and pain. Next is the goal is always, leaves you a better goal to achieve. There's a sense of dissatisfaction. And the third and the most important one is the goal is a bandha tattvam. It binds you. The goal itself binds you. So that is press. Then the next one is the spiritual goal. The first one can be called as the material goal. The second one is the spiritual goal, which we call Shreyaha. We can also give it another name, Moksha. Then give it achieving the Lord, becoming one with the Lord, Paramatma gaining. All these are basically the different names for spiritual goal. And here, this Upanishad points out that Veda has given a path for achieving material goals. What is that? The path of karma. And if the person is interested in the Shreyas, if he is interested in prayers, he has the path of karma for achieving all the material goals. If he is interested in Shreyas, he has the path of Jnanam. And path of Jnanam, there are no defects. So prayers has the three defects we talked about. But Paramatma, Shreyas, Nirdosham, he samaphi param Brahma. That Paramatma has absolutely no defects, Nirdoshaha. And then, if you have to go to Anatma to Karma Marga, the journey is outside you. Why? Because Anatma is outside you. It's an externally oriented journey. Therefore, however, if you want to go towards the spiritual goal, you have to look inside. Therefore, it's an internally oriented journey. The first journey, the one towards prayers, is Bahirmukha Yatra, looking outside. And the journey for moksha is Antarmukha Yatra, looking inside. So whichever journey you are undertaking, you require a vehicle to go from place to place. And the vehicle says Yamraj, the other three bodies, the five koshas, right? See, in the old days, the vehicle was a chariot. And therefore, here the comparison is to the Ratham. It's called the Ratha Kalpana, the imagery of the chariot, this particular example. Why? Because those days the vehicle was a chariot, and therefore there's a comparison to the Ratham, the chariot. And Rathinam means the person sitting in the chariot, who is the Lord, or I mean the owner of the chariot or the passenger. So the passenger is the Rathinam, the one who is using the chariot. So whether you are going towards press, whether your journey is towards material goals, or whether you're going towards Shreyas, whether journey is spiritual goal, remember the vehicle is only one, the three bodies. And from this comes your first lesson, that there is a primary sadhana of keeping the body, mind and intellect fit. So there are several sadhanas which are prescribed in this Ratha Kalpana, you know. So we can call it, and since of course we are talking about the spiritual journey, it's a spiritual gym. You go to the spiritual gym when you go to this Ratha Kalpana. It's part of a spiritual fitness program. So in Mundaka Upanishad, also we had an imagery, right? In Kena Upanishad, also we had imagery. In Mundaka Upanishad, what was the imagery?
The two birds on a branch?
No.
No? The
You remember
spider, there was.
bow and arrow?
Yes. Om.
That is
boy.
imagery, right? Upanishad had the story, where
Mm.
several sadhanas they talked about. And therefore, here is in his commentary, Shankara makes a comment saying that for understanding the two paths of karma marga and jnana marga, this story is being presented, right? So, and in this story, two atmas are being introduced. So he says Vivekartham. So I said in so many words for understanding the two paths, karma marga and jnana marga and the respective destinations. So all that Shankara says in one word, Vivekartham, for the Viveka part of it, for discriminating, for providing discrimination, Dvatmanau Upansyate. Upansyate means it's introduced or a story is being told. Dvatmanaha is two Atmas. So there are two Atmas being introduced here. One is the Jivatma and one is the Paramatma. So the Jivatma is what in our terms Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness. The Paramatma is what in our terms Paramatma, the original consciousness, right? Chit itself. So the two Atmas are Jivatma, Paramatma, which you can think of as RC and OC. Of course, there is Anatma also, but we are not, particularly concerned about that. So this traveler is the Jivatma, the RC, remember, he is the RC. And he can travel either, he can choose to travel outside towards the Anatma, or he can choose to travel inside towards the Paramatma. In the first mantra, then this Yamaraj defines Jivatma and Paramatma. So we will read that particular mantra. Tritiya Valli, the third section, first mantra. Please unmute yourself and we will chant. Ritam pibantau sukritasya loke
ऋतं पिबन्तौ सुकृतस्य लोके
गुहां प्रविष्टौ परमे परार्धे
गुहां प्रविष्टौ परमे परार्धे
छाया तपौ ब्रह्मविदो वदन्ति
छायातपो ब्रह्मविदो वदन्ति
पञ्चाग्न्यो ये च त्रिनचिकेताः
पञ्चाग्नयो ये च तृणाचिकेताः
So, all Vedikas, whether they are doing rituals or whether they are doing Jnana Kanda, that is, whether they are in Karma Kanda or whether they are in Karma Kanda or Jnana Kanda, all the Vedikas, they are familiar with the idea of the Jivatma and they also talk about the Jivatma. Why? Because Jivatma is the traveler involved. Then if both Jnana Kanda and Karma Kanda talk about Jivatma, what is the difference? In Karma Kanda, Veda Purva, the goal, remember, is prayas, anatma. So the farmer will do puja or rituals for rain. The trader will do rituals for more profit, right? And if you ask the farmer or the trader, do you want moksha? He will say, no, I want rain or I want more trades, I want more profits. So that is the aim of Karma Kanda. And Karma Kanda very clearly brings out the difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. Because Jivatma is praying to Paramatma for material benefits, whether it be rain or more profits or whatever. In Vedanta, the Jnana part, we talk about Shreyas. So in Karma Kanda, it is very clearly praise and therefore Anatma only. While in Jnana Kanda, it is very clearly Shreyas, and therefore Paramatma only. And this Paramatma is the Sarvagataha Sakshi, the all-pervading consciousness. Now, consciousness, what does it depend upon? Now, there is a very important concept here. For experiencing consciousness, what do you require?
Raviji, may I try?
Please, Raji.
The reflecting medium.
You require a medium, a reflecting medium. For any manifestation, consciousness requires a reflecting medium. But we must be very clear that consciousness does not require any medium for existence. It is self-existent. It is existing all the time. In fact, the medium itself exists in consciousness. Therefore, for expression or manifestation, Atma or Brahman requires a medium. And this medium is the mind, Sukshma Shariram, which is enclosed in the Sthula Shariram. So only when you have the Sukshma Shariram and therefore all the Indriyas and which are enclosed in the Sthula Shariram, therefore all the Golakams are also present, then and then only can consciousness express itself as the consciousness principle. There's a big difference in saying that Atma is the consciousness principle for which it requires nothing. But when Atma when we are saying Atma is expressing itself as the consciousness principle, remember that the mind is very much needed, right? In the wall also, in the floor also, Atma is available, but not as consciousness principle. That existence of the wall is Sat. The consciousness principle requires the subtle body, right? And this reflected consciousness in the subtle body, this is called the RC, the Pratibimba Chaitanyam, which we call Jivatma. So RC is Jivatma, right? Now you might say, why do you say RC is equal to OC and all that? So we'll come to all that. But for a start, RC is Pratibimba Chaitanyam, reflected consciousness called Jivatma. Now, since the reflection, it depends upon the reflecting medium. And the attributes of the reflecting medium, they are borrowed by the reflection. So RC always takes upon itself the attributes of the RM. That we all know, but I'm just enunciating it again for clarity. What, for example, are some of these properties? Now, if you, the Atma, are sitting in the bedroom, remember that the reflecting medium is the mind which is enclosed in the body, and the body is sitting in the bedroom, and therefore the RC, the Jivatma, is sitting in the bedroom. So the location of the reflecting medium will determine the location of the reflection itself. Right? And a very simple example is the non-traveling sun is the the original light. But the reflection in the mirror, the reflected sun, it moves along with the mirror. So mirror is the reflecting medium. It can move from room to room, and the reflection will also move. So that is the first thing. The location of the reflecting medium is borrowed by the RC. Now, also, if the reflection is dull, or if the mirror is dull, for example, mirror is dirty, then the reflection is also dull. Similarly, the OC reflecting in the Jiva, in the BMSC, the body mind sense complex, and therefore the Jivatma, the Paramatma reflecting in the body mind sense complex, we said is Jivatma, right? Therefore, Jivatma also borrows certain features from the reflecting medium. Jivatma borrows, not Paramatma. What are those features? The date of origination of the body and the mind. That is the date of birth of the Jivatma. Is determined by what? Is determined by the body, mind, sense complex. The travel of the Jivatma, whether it is in during life or after life, is determined by the body, mind, sense complex. In life, it is determined by combination of the two. Post life is determined by Sukshma Shariram. So when it travels from place to place, the travel of the Jivatma is basically the travel of the reflecting medium. And we have seen before in Bhagavad Gita, Urdhvam Gachanti Satvasthaha, all those things. Okay, all talking about the same thing. Any travel of the Jivatma is always, remember, travel of the reflecting medium. Reflection cannot travel without the reflecting medium. So therefore, when the RC travels, we say Jivatma travels. When the mind decided to do something and the mind becomes a karta or a bhokta, we say Jivatma is karta or bhokta. And that is why definition of Jivatma is Paramatma Pratibimba Chaitanya. The reflection of Paramatma. Pratibimbam means reflection. Chaitanya means consciousness. So Paramatma is OC. Therefore, OC reflected is RC. Bimba Chaitanyam is RC. And here Yamraj is saying that within this body, mind, sense complex, both Jivatma and Paramatma are present. So the Jivatma essentially is a mixture of three things. What is that? Anatma, the OC, and the RC. Why do you say Jivatma is only within the body? Because the RC can be only within the reflecting medium. Why do you say OC is in the body? Because OC is present everywhere. There is no place where OC is not present. And if it is everywhere, it must also be present in the body. Therefore, the body is RM plus RC plus OC. This idea we have to very carefully keep, okay? Because the understanding will be much clearer when we know that as Jivatma, it is not that I am just RC. I am RC because the OC is being reflected in the RM. And therefore, in the Jivatma, in the body, both are there. Anatma is there, of course. OC is there, RC is there. And as we said earlier, Jivatma can have two objectives in life. One is to go from one body to another body, take another rebirth. So move from one Anatma to another Anatma. That is one of the goals, which is Prayas. Or it can go to Paramatma, which is Shreyas. And since Paramatma is present, wherever the Jivatma is present, what do you have to do? You have to simply get rid of the reflecting medium, the mind, and then Paramatma alone is present. Okay. Reflecting, you don't get rid of the mind physically. You have to get rid of the mind intellectually. Now look at the words. Guham pravishthau. Pravishtham means has entered or is available. And pravishthau is the dual case. In Sanskrit, there are three cases: single, dual, and plural. So Pravishthav is dual case. And when you read Guham Pravishthav, you have to automatically, say okay, two things are present, are available. What are the two things? Jivatma and Paramatma. Right? It's not specifically stated, but because of the usage of the dual case, you have to understand that there are two things, and these two things are Jivatma and Paramatma. And where are they? Guham. Guha means a cave. But in the scriptural context, Guha is taken as mind. Mind is called a cave because a cave is dark. And this particular mind is dark because it is ignorant of its real nature. Right? And dark since when? from anadi kala, from time immemorial. Eternally it is dark. So within this case, within this cave, this mind, both are present. Pravishtha, Jivatma and Paramatma, both are present. Okay. What are they doing? Sukrutasya rhythm pibantau. So rhythm here means karma phalam, right? And sukrutasya, you have to be careful about the word sukrutasya here. Normally sukrita means good actions, but here you have to take sukrutasya as swayam kritaha, your own actions. So sukrutasya radham means the phalam, karma phalam of your own actions. Pibantau. He drinks, literally drinks, so he experiences. And therefore, in this case, in this cave, the Jivatma is sitting for what purpose? To experience the phalam of his own actions. Sukritasya, swayam krita actions. You cannot experience, remember, the karma phalam of any other person. So you cannot say that my parents' karma is affecting me or that my husband's karma is affecting me. Those are all wrong concepts. The only karma phalam which you ever experience is your own. Then what about if somebody beats me? Does this karma not affect me? So how will you experience? How will you explain that? Supposing somebody comes and gives you a knock on the head, it is pain, right? And you didn't do it. How are you going to explain that?
Prarabdha.
I want a
My
proper
Prarabdha
explanation.
and his Agami, his also Agami. And
I'll
he
explain it a bit more detailed.
is-
Your
Mm,
prarabdha karma
mm,
was that you should get pain. Okay. You should have a painful experience. The circumstances which brought about this confrontation between you and the person who beat you is a result of your own karma. And the person beating you is actually delivering your karma. So you don't have to be thankful to him actually. I'm not saying that. But understand that the karma has been delivered by the person. Had it not been this person A, it would have been person B. And therefore this Jagat, this universe, remember, you can never say that universe is hurting me. Universe can never hurt you. It's only a channel for your experiences. It is only your own karma which hurts you. And therefore universe is called nimittam, the cause, the immediate cause. So you remember chapter 11, nimitta matra bhava Arjuna. Arjuna, you just be the instrument. The universe is only instrument to deliver to you your karma. So the person who beats you also is an instrument to deliver your karma. Karma is your own. And karma phalam are of three types. Punya phalam, pure pleasure. Papa phalam, pure sorrow. Mishra phalam, mixture of both. And this also you have seen earlier. Anishtham mishtham mishram cha trivida karma phalam. You remember this verse?
mm.
No?
No, Acharya.
Anybody? None of you are chanters, right? In Bhagavad Gita.
I
Only
do
those who chant. If you do chant, this is one of the verses. Okay, anyway. So, even though Jivatma and Paramatma are both present in that cave, remember that there is a huge difference. The Karta is Jivatma alone. Paramatma is a dormant partner. But then what is the role of the Paramatma? Without the Paramatma, the Jivatma cannot function. Without OC, there can be no RC. The reflection requires the OC to be there. So, Jivatma backed up by Paramatma, supported by Paramatma, experiences both pleasure and pain. Okay. Then Chaya Tapau Vadanti. Brahmavidaha Chaya Tapau Vadanti. Brahmavidaha, the person who knows the Vedas, who's a wise person, he says these two are like Chaya and Tapaha. There are huge differences between Jivatma and Paramatma. Chaya is shade, Tapaha means sunlight. So here he's saying, the Jnani says that Jivatma and Paramatma are widely different, like Chaya and Tapaha, like shade and sunlight. And they have many differences. So here remember, you will find that there are many, many Vakyams in Shastra which talk about Jivatma Paramatma Bhedaha, the differences between Jivatma and Paramatma. And there are many, many Vakyams which talk about the Aikyam also. In fact, the Mahavakyam is what? Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam only, right? The oneness between the two. So you have to understand carefully. How is it? From the Vyavaharika point of view, Jivatma and Paramatma are different. From the Paramarthika point of view, they are the same. There is no confusion at all in this understanding. And this understanding has to be extremely clear. Otherwise, you will never be able to reconcile these two different messages coming from the same Veda. So here it is, the differences being highlighted. Chaya, Tapaha, shade and sunlight. And of course, there are many differences. What are they? Paramatma is one, Jivatma is many. So Paramatma Ekam, Jivatma Anekam. Paramatma is all pervading, Jivatma is finite, limited to his physical body. Therefore, Paramatma Sarvagatam or Paramatma Aparichinnaha and Jivatma is Parichinnaha, finite, limited. Paramatma cannot move, he cannot travel. Achala. While Jivatma is subject to travel because the mind is subject to travel. Right? Then Paramatma is independent of the mind. Jivatma is dependent upon the mind for its existence. Why? Because Jivatma is the RC. RC requires the mind, the RM, for its existence. But Paramatma does not. Therefore, Paramatma Swatantraha, independent. Jivatma Paratantraha, dependent. Paratantraha means dependent. Swatantraha means independent. Then, Jivatma borrows attributes of the reflecting medium, while Paramatma is no attributes at all, is free from all attributes. And last and the most important, Jivatma is samsari, Paramatma is asamsari. So, Paramatma is not asamsari. Paramatma is asamsari means free from samsara. So, better to say that Jivatma is samsari, Paramatma is free from samsara. Then Brahmavidoho Panchagnyoho Yecha Trinachiketaha. Now, this Panchagni is so known because the Grihastha, the householder, has to light different types of fires to perform different types of rituals. Okay, the fire is the same, right? But the manner in which the fire is lit, right? It's different for different rituals. And therefore, each fire gets a different name corresponding to the ritual. So you have names like Garyapatya, Ahavaniya, Dakshina, Sabya, and so on. So the Grihastha has to light a fire, all these five fires, and therefore he is also called Panchagni, right? And Trinachiketa is another name given to the Grihastha. So this, he says, Brahmavidaha Panchagneha Trinachiketaha. The Jnani Brahmavidaha, the Panchagni are Trinachiketaha, and the Grahasthas. So essentially, Brahmavidaha refers to the person in Jnanakanda. Panchagni and Trinachiketa refers to the Grahastha, means the person in Karmakanda. They all talk about these differences. They all talk about the Jivatma. With this, he introduced two things, Paramatma and Jivatma. And in the next mantra, we talk about the different paths, two different paths which can be taken by the two. So we will go to the second mantra.
Acharya, I didn't understand Trinachiketa. What is the Trina?
Nachiketa is the person who performs the Nachiketa fire 3 times.
Okay. Okay.
So he is a Grihastha only.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So in you are supposed to perform that ritual 3 times. Remember that before this Upanishad, that fire was not called Nachiketaha. It was just a ritual. One of the boons given in this Upanishad is that fire will henceforth be called by your name. So Nachiketa Agni is known as Nachiketaha. So basically,
Sir, that verse was from 18th chapter.
very good. Sometime. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, let us look at mantra number 2. Yaha seturi jananam aksharam brahma yat param
Aksharam Brahma Yat Param
bhayam titirshatam param
Abhayam Titirthatam Param
nachiketagam shakemahi.
Nachiketakam Shakemahi.
Okay, I've used the pronunciation Nachiketagam. Okay, that is because in my text there is the Anuswara is not there. It is replaced by a semicircle with a dot on top and a stroke below. How many of you have that?
I have it, sir.
Acharya. Yeah.
Okay, see, basically this when you break this up and you're not chanting, then you don't have to use this gum. The gum is a Vedic usage. Okay, so we can call it Nachiketam also. For easier understanding, it is Nachiketam. But when you're using it in a Vedic chanting, then there are certain rules that when the Anuswara is followed, for example, by the letter Sh, then you can't say Nachiketam, you have to say Nachiketagam. As you can see here, Nachiketam is followed by Shakemahi. Therefore, it is called Nachiketagam. Anyway, I'm sure Tanmay has talked about all this in our chanting class, so I'm not going through this. So he says, Shake Mahi. We can resort, we can do. It is possible for us to do. What? Nachiketam. The Nachiketa ritual, the Nachiketa Agni ritual, it is possible to do. Remember, it is not Nachiketam, it is Nachiketam. Nachiketa is the boy, the student. The fire named for in his name is called Nachiketaha. So, Shakemahi Nachiketaha, second line. We can do this Nachiketam fire. And what is the Nachiketam fire? Ye Setuhu, which is the bridge. Where does Nachiketa fire take you? Where does the ritual take you?
Swargaloka.
Swargaloka. So, Ye Setuhu means that is the bridge to Swargaloka. And Ijananam. Ijananam is a ritualist. On the other hand, Paramaksharam. We can study about the imperishable Param Brahma, Abhayam Brahma, fearless Brahman, Yataha, which is the root, which is the means, Titirshatam Param, for those who want to cross the shores of samsara. Titirshata means to cross. Param means across the shore. Okay, I explain in a bit more detail. There are 2 paths. Karma marga, which includes upasana, the external path. Go towards what? To anatma destination, which we call prayers. The Jnana Marga, Shreyas, the internal path, which takes one to Moksha, the Paramatma destination. Ijana means Yajamanaha, the ritualist. Ijana is the same as Yajamanaha, the one who does Yajna. He chooses to go by the Karma Marga because Maya is very attractive and he doesn't have too much of focus on the spiritual path. He wants to fulfill all his desires. So he chooses Karma Marga. Setu is the bridge, and as I said, it means the Nachiketa's Homam, which is available for Karma Margis. Therefore, it takes you to Swarga. Now, Swarga represents the highest of all sense pleasures, Dharma, Artha, Kama. And so he says, Nachiketam Shakemahi. You can choose this path. But what is the phalam here? The phalam Krishna talked about. Antavantu phalam tesha. And also, Shine Punye Matyalokam Vishanti. I hope you guys remember what that means. Antavattu phalam tesha means what? Tesham phalam antavataha.
As
No, you
the
should.
result of good deeds is experienced, finished, punya karma phala.
Tesham phalam antavataha. All these pleasures will have an anta. Will get an end. Antavataha means in the nature of having an end. And therefore, tesham phalam antavataha. All pleasures come to an end. And Shine Punye Martyalokam Vishanti. Shine Punye, once the stock of bank balance of Punyam is exhausted, what will happen to you? Martyalokam Vishanti. You will be back here in Delhi, okay, in midsummer. Therefore, Abhayam Param Titirshata. Param is the Abhayam Param Titirshata. Param is other shore of samsara. And it is called Abhayam because there is no insecurity over there. The other shore of samsara is what? Moksha. So moksha, there is no insecurity. Abhayam param titirshata. He crosses over to that other shore of samsara, which is called moksha. And what is the marga? Aksharam param brahma. So Aksharam param brahma is actually the destination. Therefore, the marga is Aksharam param brahma jnanam. That jnanam you have to supply. And Jivatma has the freedom to choose one of these two paths. Generally, who wins? Maya wins. Right? And that's what Krishna also said. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Very few people even attempt this path. And even among those who attempt, very few will succeed also. So we don't have enough time to complete the next mantra. So with this, we'll stop. If you have any questions, please ask. There's a very fundamentally deep portion in these two mantras. So you have to understand properly. Then only the rest of it will be fine. Mantra 3 is the starting of the Ratha Kalpana, and it will extend some 4-5 mantras. So next 2 classes, I think we'll be covering that example, that Kalpana only, the imagery only. Any questions? Otherwise, we can stop for the day. Om Purnavadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Namah
Om Tat Sat Om Namah
Shivaya. Thank you for your
Shivaya.
patience.
Thank you,
Om.
Acharya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Thank